within Air India, we have this Vihan.ai, which is our roadmap of the transformation of Air India. And one of the critical pillars there is training. So having said that, I must say that, the Air India in the past, maybe 50 years ago, had the vision of setting up something called the CTE, the Center, the training, for training establishment both in Mumbai and Hyderabad. It was a visionary step. I think at that time it must have been surely world class. And over time, probably it was under invested in, and therefore, what we are doing is trying to create a similar setup now, but in today's day and age. So, 2-3 changes. One is, of course, it will be the latest and most modern as far as global practices is concerned. But 2-3 differences. One is, we believe, on the basis of whatever we found out from many airlines in the world, that we would like to locate it near our leadership center. So, we are planning to locate the main academy. It is already up and functional in Gurgaon. So that there's an ability for senior leadership to interact with all employees and convey. That's easier for the way we want to bring in our culture and values into everybody. One good news for airlines is that the training happens every year to keep their license current for most of the cohorts, and therefore they need to come here. The other two parts are to do with both in terms of technology, how we make it better, and investment in ab initio training. So, we are proposing to invest in ab initio training for pilots. We are setting up our own FTO, our own cadet pilot school, and we are planning to invest in ab initio training for aircraft maintenance engineers. So, we are setting up our own BMTO, the Basic Maintenance Training Organization. So, these are the two additional stuff. So the training academy has 4 pillars. One pillar is the advanced pilot trainings, where we are setting up joint ventures for our Airbus simulators and for the Boeing simulators. We have already announced the joint venture with Airbus for the Airbus simulators. Then we have the training academy, which has the entire, all the regular training as you hear in an airline. Then we have the ab initio cadet pilot school, the FTO, and the ab initio engineering school, which is the AME school. So we are working, as I told you, on all of these 4 pillars for the advanced pilot trainings, all the trainings for cabin crew, pilots, engineers, ground staff, security, for ab initio pilots, ab initio. So, if you take Air India, the kind of growth we are talking about, 3x our fleet over the next few years. So, one is about ensuring that the capacity of the cohorts required with the best possible, training is put in place. The other 2 things which I have seen and learned is, I think, and a great advantage we have as both Tatas and as India, is to bring in more and more of technology into training. And I'm not meaning to say this as a high-sounding thing, but the way technology can now come into training, what could earlier probably take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, now can happen over a few weeks and a few months. So I think the use of technology is going to be the big differentiator as far as I think training in India is going to be. So on the training side, the decision we have taken is to have one consolidated training center in Gurgaon. The FTO or the full-flight simulators, the 2 joint ventures are coming up in Gurgaon. The ab initio training, we have just signed up to set it up in Amravati in Maharashtra. And the engineering school is going to come next to Air India's MRO, which is coming up in Bangalore. We'll set it up. So the idea of having the entire training academy in Gurgaon is, like I mentioned, to ensure that over time every single employee has the opportunity.
Quickly move to.
So I'll probably take this in 2 parts. One is about online training of the way currently training is done versus the digital applications. The key difference which has happened, everybody is hearing about Gen AI and how things could change, is that the typical technology projects of these kind of applications, which could take 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, today can be done in weeks. And so we have started with the first for our cabin crew training to just see that how can Gen AI or equivalent of a chatbot take this training to all aspects, not just in the classroom, but make it really conversational across whatever devices they have. So, and those can be developed over 3 weeks.
And is it started?
We have just started and we are now in the test phase. So, we could do that with all cohorts. I think technology in training is what India is going to redefine for aviation.
And is this?
So, in terms of the capacity or the number of trainers which are required, I think across the 4 AOCs, when we map it out, we have sufficient to support the kind of growth we are looking at, but we will need to add on to them. To get to the train the trainer, we are tying up stronger with the OEMs to ensure that the standardization of our trainers
is in line with the airline.
Yeah, it's kept one level away so that there is more discipline and control over that. As far as service training is concerned, I think there's some bit available within the group. Huge opportunity, because one is, none of us have any doubt that Air India is going to become one of the global best airlines with an Indian heart, in spite of many such incidents or reports that you would hear about, because I think, with time, many of these things will come together. I think the great opportunity is training is going to be the differentiator in terms of not just the service, but from the safety perspective of how, if you take an Air India flight today and you will have some outstanding experiences, but you'll also have some experiences which are not so bad, not so good from the training. So to be able to standardize that into a, narrower band around high level is something which will happen. The second is, especially from the FTO and the BMTO perspective, I think we will work towards democratizing people getting into, these roles. I don't think many people in India, or at least larger parts of India, are aware how to become a pilot. And the first, thought that comes into mind is it's too expensive. And, it's something that only rich people do, which is not correct at all. We have already in our cadet pilot programs tied up for financing with guarantee from Air India, where, with zero financial backing, somebody can come in and become a pilot. These are early days, but when we have our own FTO, I don't think that's an issue at all. And can you imagine, because pilots get paid very well and in a very short period, in 5-6 years time, their salary levels are very significant. So I think we'll be able to democratize and get best talent from a much larger pool in India into aviation and into Air India, and then that's our future.